Just to bring you an update on some breaking news coming into us here at Sky Centre, and that involves Tommy Robinson, who has been released on police bail after being arrested over an alleged assault at St Pancras railway station in London.
The other funny thing, which I expected anyway, was lies from witnesses. What they don't realise is there is a recording of what was happening.
Is Tommy Robinson on his way to jail again? This all started nearly 2 weeks ago when this video emerged of a man lying face down unconscious in St Pancras Station in London, and an irate Tommy Robinson, who you can see leaving the scene saying, "You saw he come at me, bruv." Paramedics were called to the scene. It was reported that the man was taken to a major trauma centre with serious but non-life-threatening injuries. It was also being reported that the man Tommy Robinson knocked out was 64 years old. We'll touch on that a bit later in the video. In the early hours of the next morning, as the police were investigating the incident, treating Tommy Robinson as the suspect and the other man as the victim, Stephen Yaxley Lennon, aka Tommy Robinson, boarded a flight and left the country for the Spanish island of Tenerife. We do now know that Tommy Robinson would return to the UK days later, and in the video he uploaded upon his return, he bemoaned the fact that some media were saying that he fled the country.
And just to clear something up for the media said I went on the run. I contacted the police straight away. My solicitors contacted them at 6 o'clock the next morning. We made them aware of where I was, made them aware of the date I was coming home already. I've showed evidence to the police that my accommodation, everything was booked before this incident. So before this incident happened, I had a trip planned. Fact. If I had tried to escape the country, like the media have told you, if I went on the run, like the media told you, I wouldn't now have my passport, would I?
In his interview with Ezra Levant, Tommy played the voice note he left his police liaison after the incident.
Wayne, it's Tommy, mate. How are ya? So I was on the way to get my train home, and I've had some lad come up starting at me, squaring up to me with his clenched fist. I've stood away, told him to f*** off, told him multiple times just f*** off.
It's impossible to know if it was immediately after the incident, as Tommy claims. Of course, I wouldn't want to take Tommy Robinson's word on anything, but at this time, I also can't disprove it. In the days following the incident, while Tommy was overseas, we started seeing the narrative on Twitter that the other man drunkenly, aggressively approached Tommy, wouldn't leave him alone, and eventually Tommy hit him in self-defense. A number of Tommy's supporters and his circle were sharing this story, and Tommy himself was clearly co-signing it by retweeting some of these posts. Tommy's associates wasted no time in using this opportunity to fundraise for Tommy's next luxury holiday in Cyprus, while Tommy was still overseas and quiet on social media. One of his biggest bootlickers, Ezra Levant, got the ball rolling.
Tommy Robinson was attacked last night. He needs our help, and I told him I would do my part, but I can't do it alone. Please watch this video to the end, visit our website, .com, and please share this far and wide. Last night, Tommy Robinson was walking alone in a large train station in London when he was threatened with violence by a belligerent man who was drunk. Tommy repeatedly warned him to back off, but instead, the man advanced. Tommy responded in self-defense and the man fell to the ground. Here's a cell phone video. London train stations are completely covered with surveillance cameras, and unless police delete that footage, it will clearly show the man besetting and threatening Tommy. It was 100% self-defense. In fact, Tommy immediately contacted police to tell them about what happened anymore. Tommy is more alert than most people because he regularly gets harassed by people who disagree with him. I've spoken with Tommy and with Tommy's criminal lawyers, and I've offered to crowdfund this latest legal battle, which is nothing more and nothing less than self-defense against a London hoodlum. I don't have an estimate of how much these lawyers are going to cost. I guess it depends on how badly the government wants to go after Tommy. He was the victim of the crime here in Sadiq Khan's dangerous city. Unlike 940,000 other Londoners, he managed to save himself. If he's prosecuted for defending himself against threatened violence, it'll be just another case of two-tier justice in the UK. Let's you and me help save Tommy. Help me pay for his lawyers at .com. Thanks. I'll keep you posted on this one.
On Monday evening at Luton Airport, as Tommy was arriving back in the UK, he was arrested on suspicion of grievous bodily harm and taken in for questioning by the British Transport Police. This means that depending on how this goes and what the evidence consists of, this could result in Tommy's longest stint in prison so far. Average prison sentences for grievous bodily harm in the UK range between 3 and 16 years, with a maximum of a life sentence if someone is convicted of grievous bodily harm with intent. Not that I think that is likely. Some hours later, Tommy was released on bail until the 2nd of September. Some of you may have seen that after being released on bail, Tommy uploaded a video sharing his thoughts. But you may not know that that video was his second take. Tommy initially uploaded a different video, which he very quickly deleted. Let's have a look at part of that initial deleted video and analyse why Tommy may have deleted it.
When I looked at, let's just say one of the witnesses is a far-left activist, an actor, yeah? The other funny thing, which I expected anyway, was lies from witnesses. What they don't realise is there is yeah, a recording of what was happening that hasn't been released. Yeah. So when you read a witness statement, I think, well, we've got the recording, dickhead. Yeah. So what you're saying was said wasn't said. Certainly not by me. Yeah. The aggressor, because some of these witnesses who give big statements about who I am and how racist I am and I should be back in jail. You know, unfortunately for you, bruv, yeah, there is a recording. There's always a fucking recording. The most scary week of my life because I expected the footage to be erased and I expected there to be witnesses, which there are, which don't tell the real story, which again there are. Unfortunately for those witnesses, if they decide to prosecute on this, you're going to look pretty stupid, lads. Yeah, and your own agenda, and it is a political agenda because I've gone through the social medias, I've gone through who you are, I know everything.
Because I've gone through the social medias, I've gone through who you are.
It's going to look pretty damning for you. You're lying. You're lying, and the evidence is there to prove you're lying. So anyway.
It's very clear why Tommy deleted that video. His lawyer must have been having a panic attack, calling him and begging him to delete it. There are a number of reasons why this was moronic. Firstly, witness intimidation is a crime. And in my opinion, this was blatant witness intimidation. I've had a lot of Tommy's supporters in my replies on Twitter arguing against this, but I'm sorry, social media posts trying to dissuade witnesses from testifying and addressing them directly saying that you've worked out who they are and you are looking through all of their social media accounts clearly fits the legal definition of witness intimidation. It's worth noting that according to the law, the witness intimidation doesn't even have to succeed in intimidating the witness. It just has to have the intent of having that effect, or be reckless about whether it would. There is also another small factor that made this video moronic. Tommy is currently out on bail. In his interview with Ezra, Tommy made it clear that part of his bail conditions concerns the witnesses.
I'm going to ask you about it, but I also want to let viewers know that you are under a couple of conditions. The police have let you go on bail. There's no charges against you now, but you did promise not to identify witnesses.
Not
Is
to
that
identify
right?
witnesses or any information about witnesses. and not to travel on the London train stations.
It will be very interesting to see what comes of this witness intimidation. Tommy does seem hell-bent on getting himself back in prison by any means necessary. In this next clip, we are going to see one of the main points that Tommy made in the video he uploaded after he was released on bail. It's hard to put into words how mind-numbingly stupid this one is.
You know who I am. You know, I just don't go around punching people. Come on, man. I don't react with them. I react with them when it's last resort and I need to defend myself. And I don't just throw punches willy-nilly either. That's only at last resort as defence. So,
how embarrassing. Why would he say this with so much evidence to the contrary? Stephen Yaxley Lennon, aka Tommy Robinson, has a long history over the past 2 decades of being a violent criminal. He had criminal convictions for assault in 2005 and 2011, and has been caught on camera committing violent acts numerous other times, including this infamous video from 2019 at a soccer match, where he cowardly sucker punched someone from behind. I paused the video before impact. Otherwise, this video would have been age restricted, but if you don't believe me, look it up yourself. And this has been my response when Tommy Robinson's supporters have asked me, why would he attack someone? The answer to that question is that he's a violent criminal who has been caught on camera sucker punching people in the past. I'm not assuming his guilt or that it wasn't self-defense. I'm simply saying that it is foolish to assume his innocence. This next clip is another claim that Tommy made in this video that I found incredible.
look at the media this week, man. Look at what they've portrayed and how it's been portrayed in forensic terms. Blood transfusion. There was no blood transfusion. All the newspapers saying there's a blood transfusion. It's all bullshit. He weren't 64. It's a lie. They lied about his age. Everything. A lie.
Now this I find incredible and hard to believe. Tommy says the media lied about the man he knocked out being 64 years old. Now, I'm not naive enough to think that the media is above lying, but this is something incredibly specific that is so easy to verify. Not only that, but the police have confirmed that the man was 64 years old. Now, I know Tommy Robinson's supporters want us to think that the police treat him oh so unfairly, but this to me is ridiculous. There was a man at the St Pancras Station that Tommy Robinson knocked out. No one, including Tommy, is disputing this. The man has an age. It will be verified. And Tommy wants us to believe that the police lied to the media about his age. For what reason? To make the public think less of Tommy? It's not going to help their case. It just doesn't seem realistic to me. And if Tommy is lying about this, he's going to look like an utter moron when the man's age is confirmed. In this video that Tommy published when he was released on bail, his main message to the police was release the CCTV.
I was worried, very worried. I thought I was being stitched up. I didn't think they'd have the CCTV. I was detained yesterday on GBH Section 18 and I was interviewed. And what my request would be right now is release the footage for the public to see, okay? That's what everyone needs to see, the footage, not that little clip. You need to see the footage. Don't listen to the accounts given in newspapers. You need to see the footage. After seeing the CCTV, I know there's not a jury in the world would convict me of that. So my request to the Metropolitan Police Force is release the footage. Let the public see, okay?
Of course, Tommy knows that the police cannot release the CCTV evidence during an active investigation, but he is only saying this to grift his supporters and play them like fiddles. He's campaigning for the police to release the footage, and when they don't, like we all know they can't, he's going to claim this as proof that he is innocent and was acting in self-defense. This is already really dumb, but it only gets stupider. Tommy is claiming that he himself has a separate recording showing what happened and proving that he acted in self-defense.
I don't know. There is a recording. I don't know. Look, that recording, if it needs to come out, it will come out. Yeah. But it was better to let's see what the witnesses say. When you watch the footage, as well as the footage we have, if it goes before a judge, man, it's like, I know they can do what they want, but after watching that footage, which they've agreed they won't delete and we have a 100% copy of, there's no case. There's self-defense. It's the most evident case of self-defense.
Why doesn't Tommy release the footage, instead of campaigning the police to release the CCTV evidence, which he knows they cannot? In my opinion, the logical answer to this is that the footage doesn't show what Tommy says it shows, or this footage that Tommy says he has simply doesn't exist. We may not know for certain for some time, but if the footage of this incident doesn't corroborate Tommy's story, it could ruin him. I'm not sure how he could come back from it. Not to mention how stupid some of the grifters in his circle will look, like Don Keith, who has stated as fact that this footage exists which exonerates Tommy.
I can tell you with 100% certainty whether they hold that security camera footage or not. I can tell you with 100% certainty there is already a video with more footage that corroborates Tommy Robinson's side of this event. So can't tell you how I know that. I just know that there's footage out there that will 100% vindicate Tommy Robinson. So that's why I say anybody out there who's planning on lying about this, if there's witnesses, if you're the authorities, if you're the government, there's other footage out there other than your security cameras, I guarantee it.
Let's hope so, Don, because if there isn't this footage you speak of, you are going to look like an utter fool. I am for sure going to follow this story. I'm fascinated to see how it unfolds. I do need to acknowledge that there is a man who is reported to have serious injuries as a result of this incident. Whether he was the aggressor, as Tommy says, or not, I hope he makes a full recovery. But boy, this is going to be interesting. We know that Tommy is a liar and a grifter, but if he is lying in this case, there is going to be so much egg on faces with such strong statements that potentially could have direct video evidence contradicting them. I do think that Stephen Yaxley Lennon, aka Tommy Robinson, is capable of lying about this, but we may not know for some time. I will be sure to keep you all updated on what happens in this case. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any updates. You can also join as a member to support the channel. A massive thank you to our members that make this content possible. I will also leave the link in the description to the crowdfund to support the legal defense of myself and others against Tommy Robinson's mates, Andrew and Tristan Tate. I will not be silenced by those degenerate children.